This is Hartford Whaler Nation. Welcome to Whaler Nation TV. Tonight, I'm here with Peter Hindle from theexaminer.com, and we're in a smaller studio at Nutmeg TV, getting ready for the installation of their green screen production studio. Tonight we have a couple shows. We're going to do the first one on the XL Center.
Yeah, actually there's a lot of news about the XL Center. The Capital Region Development Authority has been very busy and shaking up things with the XL Center. They actually have a little bit of a plan for the XL Center's future, and they even hint at where we're going to go beyond that. Are we going to completely renovate this arena, or are we going to look at possibly getting a new arena? So just the fact that the XL Center, just the fact that the CRDA is talking about this issue, even though it'd be 10 years down the road, it's at least talk. So it's kind of an interesting point of view to look at to see what's going to happen.
And really, when you look at the monies that they put aside for this renovation, was it $35 million this year?
Actually, it's there's two phases to the plan. The first phase was going to be $2.5 million in improvements, but the $35 million you're referring to is part of a second phase. So that $35 million will go into the XL over the next 10 years.
Okay.
And then after that 10 years is where we're going to decide what to do with the XL Center, like really long term.
And when you look at what the NHL has done over the years with smaller arenas being the I guess the prize these days, and you said it earlier off camera that the NHL likes the shiny look, the new look.
Yeah.
And with Barclays Center and Winnipeg only being 15,000 seat arenas, they're looking to consolidate and be maybe closer to the ice, maybe a better view, depending on the construction of the facilities. But only squeezing 15,000 in, and the XL Center is what, 15,900 and
15,635 is for hockey.
Okay,
a little bit more for concerts and that sort of thing. Because really, what this is all about, and in my opinion, the CRDA is looking at Mohegan and Foxwoods. Springfield's talking about building casinos their way. And so Hartford is looking at, like, how can we keep our entertainment options here? Because as you know, the Yukon women's basketball is not going to be at the XL Center for the Big East tournament this year.
Right. It's going down to Bridgeport.
Right.
Which is another small arena.
Right. And they lost. They're losing that. They're losing those games.
And you've seen over the years, AEG did a pretty fair job attracting the concerts. And when we spoke to AEG, they had a tough time putting that money up front to get those shows in here.
Right.
When you get into now Springfield having a casino, you have Mohegan Sun, you have Bridgeport, all these people vying for entertainment, whether it's hockey, concerts, basketball, the gymnastics. You can only hold on to that for so long.
Right.
And really, when you look at what's going to happen with an antiquated arena, yes, there's tons of memories, Whaler memories, all kinds of memories as a kid going to the circus there, and all kinds of other things. It's great to have the memories, but really, the city of Hartford, the state of Connecticut, really has to look towards the future and being a viable market for people to come here and enjoy the city. And as we discussed before, it's up to the city and the state to also take care of the restaurants, the pubs, and the people who, the hotels. Without entertainment, you have nothing. We saw the numbers going from Whaler Nation on Facebook. The numbers were unbelievable the first year the Whalers left. It was like $75 million.
Yeah, actually it was brought up, Dennis House had written a blog, and it was located in there that it was somewhere around $72.9 million the Whalers brought in to the downtown area.
Per year.
Yeah, and it was over 900 jobs, that were lost because of the NHL leaving, and that would be, concession people, certain types of contracts with other, subcontractors, those things along those lines. And I think also, there was just a loss in general. It hurt the surrounding restaurants and pubs so much that a lot of those restaurants, pubs, from that time period, we don't see anymore.
There's many people that are very outspoken about that too.
Right.
You have I spoke to the owner of or the manager of salute the other night. Who is a great guy. Used to manage Chuck's in the Civic Center, Margaritaville. These are all places that were very viable when the professional sports team was here. I mean, an NHL caliber sports team was here. And the same thing has to be, you know, I really don't understand where our local politicians and the state politicians and people think where this money's going to come from. You know, you have to attract these people in for 40 games a night, whether it's hockey or basketball or whatever it may be, but you need to be on a national scale. I mean, the what was it? The statistic came out the other day about Hartford being the 50th, ranked 50th in the,
I didn't see
poll.
that.
It was nobody wants to come to Hartford because there's nothing in Hartford right now. There's a lot of good things that are trying to happen with the busway, and UConn and CCSU moving downtown to have a younger group of people moving to the downtown area for apartments and living.
And you look at this, I mean, the biggest secret in the world that everybody already knows is that we're vying to get the NHL back. And we think that, you know, a renovated arena or a new arena would need a major league tenant. You know, you could have UConn, and to some aspect that is a big tenant, but they just don't have the type of games or as many games as an NHL team.
And our fans are fair market fans. If your team's not doing well, they don't show up. It's been proven. Whether it was the Whalers, whether it was UConn. I mean, you see it at Rentschler Field. I mean, it was a great game the other day with UConn and Michigan playing at Rentschler. And UConn played a great game and kept a big-time team at bay. And it was a close game. They sold out the place. That's wonderful. We want people to enjoy sports in Connecticut, specifically in the Hartford area, to keep Hartford going. You have a lot of nonprofit groups, as we said before, the Bushnell Park Foundation. Whaler Nation was represented at the Green Gala the other night and got a lot of great compliments on, hey, how about the Whalers? Yeah, Hartford was great when the Whalers were here. And it was great to hear. Where are these people now? These are very influential people that were there. They raised a great deal of money for just a wonderful organization with Matt Fleury, who runs the Connecticut Science Center. We saw the personalities from WFSB. Dennis House was there, Kara Sunland, Mark Dixon was there. It was great to see all those people. And again, they keep on coming back. Whalers, Whalers, Whalers. These are people who live in Hartford or work in Hartford and really have a great pride of Hartford. So, you know, it's still out there. The Whaler name is still fresh like it was yesterday. Now we have to get more of a buy-in from the people who really make the decisions on where we're going to go with this.
And, you know, some of these renovations that the XL is doing is trying to make the entertainment experience, you know, better. I mean, some of the improvements for the $2.5 million that they're doing, you're looking at 150 flat screens. I don't know if you've been up to the Coliseum Club, but up along the walls they have those giant TVs, the tube TVs from, you know, before turn of the century.
Exactly.
Those are still there. They're like 1990 TVs. You know, the XL Center never got updated with its video equipment. Having flat screen TVs where people can watch the game, or they go out to their concessions, they can still watch the events or watch the circus or whatever's on. You know, that's a pretty good improvement. That
the Civic Center.
The Civic Center's needed that kind of
improvement.
And
XL also said that when we had Chris in, and Ilka, they talked about the customer experience.
Guys from Global,
and really that you know, when you heard that, you were like, okay, maybe these guys are really hopefully they do more with it, and obviously this what you've outlined is a lot of customer fan base, you know, the experience.
And that's part of Global is doing that. So they're going to do more merchandise sales space, renovated concessions, which would be great because those concessions seem like they've been there since 1986.
And the biggest problem is the space in the concessions. You know, you get 15,000 people in there. It's like herding cattle. If
you want to start selling it out,
and you're going to have more of an issue.
They're going to replace the curtain. The curtain is that thing they drop down.
Thing they drop down,
I think they're going to have it for the Wolfpack games, but
who says we can't attract enough people?
It kind of does that. And I guess the curtain is originally from when the arena football team here, I think they were the Connecticut Coyotes.
Oh yeah, that was really fun.
So the curtain is, I mean, it's over 20 years old. It's, you know, if you're going to get a curtain, get a nice curtain. You know,
I guess
if you want to get curtains,
if you like curtains inside
it's
an
kind of
arena,
like it's kind of touching. The state and Global are buying curtains together, so
that's nice.
Hey, not everybody does that.
Good for partnership.
Yeah, not a big fan of the curtain, but I understand the point that you want to make the arena more. You want to fill up the seats in the lower bowl and try to create a better game experience.
Sure,
we'll see how it goes. It's been done before. I have not witnessed it personally, but but it did happen prior. With the Wolfpack had it prior too. So I guess a curtain of that size is going to be kind of expensive. So that's part of the package there. But and they're also going to take a look at the current mechanicals, which are also again outdated. That's part of the arena problem is sometimes a venue can help you choose to go to an event. Where would you rather go? Would you rather go to the casino and watch an event or the XL Center?
Sure.
A lot of people would choose the casino just because it's up to date.
And that brings up another question.
Right.
If, hypothetically, they see this as a money pit,
right,
where are they going to go?
Yeah.
Are they going to maintain the facility downtown, or are they going to move it to an alternate facility outside of Hartford?
Right.
I think it would be a terrible, this is my own personal opinion, you take it out of Hartford, Hartford disappears.
Right.
And it's not fair to all those vendors, the restaurants, the pubs, the people who want to go to the XL Center for shows. It's convenient. It's in the heart of Hartford, like they used to say.
Right, right.
That nice jingle they had back in the day.
Yeah.
But when you start taking something that has always been the nucleus, they've always called it the nucleus. It sits right in the middle of the city, and they, I think it'd be a poor choice if they did that.
I am actually in agreement with you, but if the option is there to get a new arena, and that's the only way the NHL will allow it to happen, the only other place I think it would work would be Rentschler Field. You already have the parking there. You already have the spaces designed for a big event. The HOV lanes that were built years ago all kind of lead into that Pratt & Whitney area because it used to be such high employment there.
Right.
Employment's going down there, but you could still use those HOV lanes to direct traffic for large events.
And the governor
they did it for Michigan.
Yeah, the governor has indicated that could be a spot for a multi-sport facility.
Right.
That has been said in the past. I don't know if it was just something that was put out on the radar or whatever, but that's been said.
It would expand. I'd look at it this way: if that's how it was going to go, you'd almost be spanning Hartford out beyond, in terms of being a city. That would become kind of your entertainment space.
Well, I think that'd be neat if they did, such as what the Patriots did with Patriot Park. They have the restaurants out there, the bars out there. And, Howard Baldwin had said when, as part of that renovation, that $150 million renovation that he put forth, that there would be a sports club in the bottom level of the XL Center.
That would be great.
And that would be perfect.
Yeah.
When Northland did the whole renovation of that with the Hartford 21, all those stores and restaurants went out of there.
Yeah.
So it turned into just a single place just for an entertainment, where before it had everything, where you could grab some food, you could go to the bar, you could have fun with your friends when there wasn't an event in the XL Center.
Right.
Now it's just simply, okay, I'm going to a game or I'm going to a show.
Right.
There's nothing right there.
No, not at all.
No, and I think that has to be tied in with whether they renovate it or they actually build a brand new arena.
Yeah, there wasn't much in the report, and this report was from Ken Gosselin, who's a reporter from Hartford Courant. This is, if you wanted to read the article that he wrote on it. But part of the other thing of the second phase, it would be the $35 million. None of that, none of this mentions anything about putting some retail space or some restaurant space inside the XL. So
and that might be the problem because it's still with Northland.
Right. It is.
And
it is
it's
still
a property
with
issue.
Yeah. So they have the space, but
they have the atrium.
Right.
And then everyone else owns the Coliseum itself.
Yeah. All these renovation projects are to be done inside the XL, and the $35 million that's going to be paid by the state. The second part of this renovation plan is going to bring in 36 improvements like refurbished locker rooms, premium seating. They're going to have a green room to do interviews and put on some tape for the Jumbotron, that type of thing. Improved lighting, the addition of more restrooms, updating the mechanicals of the current restrooms, which I think those might be on eBay. I mean they're relics. I mean
they are.
Yeah. They said Wi-Fi service. A lot of people have problem when they want to use their social media. They can't do that when they're inside the XL Center because of issues. They want to put marquees facing Church and Ann Street, which would be great because
dress it up.
Right. And there is no advertising. You don't really know what's playing at the XL Center because there's no advertisement.
Right. It's only on the front.
Yeah, things that are vastly needed. And I think what the CRAD did was look around and see what's going on and realize that it's time to bring it up to the current standard. These next $35 million of improvements will take place over the entire 10-year of Global's contract. So when Global's contract expires in 10 years, there's a huge question on whether or not to completely revamp this XL or to get a new arena. And to revamp an XL, I talked to a guy inside who works in the XL Center. He says to redo the XL, it would be about 80% of the entire building. So that's a quite costly.
It is. It's a huge endeavor.
It wouldn't be the $400 million that a new arena would cost. I'm guessing it would be maybe half or around that, but
if
that's
you're doing
just a layman's guess.
You could be 3/4.
I mean, you're talking about just down to the bare bones, and then rebuilding it from scratch. So, but the point about doing that is it's just such a great location in terms of the city.
It's a perfect location.
It's the diamond of the city. It's the center of the city. So those are one of the things that. We'll be looking at. And 10 years is a long time to talk. A lot could happen between that, of course.
Sure, exactly. I mean, we see the Wolfpack is coming back to town now, rebranded.
Right.
For this hockey season.
Rebranded, yeah.
I'm sorry, you're right, rebranded, correct.
Yeah.
And coming back, was it next week?
The opener's next Saturday night. This is today is September 30th. So
it's the 5th.
October 5th will be the home opener for the Wolfpack. They've done quite well. They've actually never gone, I think, below 7,013 is their lowest opener.
Okay.
So you expect a big crowd. But it's funny, there's a game on Sunday, and that game will draw less than 4,000 for sure.
The problem is it's football season.
It is football season, and the AHL tennis does not really pick up until after the Christmas holiday.
Super Bowl.
Around there. So
that's been a problem forever.
Yeah.
I'm sure if we went back to some of the Whaler games, I'm sure the attendance was low as well.
Yeah.
The NHL, the AHL, they have to realize, and the hockey fans, we are a unique bunch. We love hockey. We love going to hockey, but we're a very small percentage of the fans that appreciate sports out there. You have football, you have baseball, you have basketball. Oh, there's hockey.
Yeah.
And, that's where I thought when the lockout occurred last year, hockey did a real disservice to their fans.
Yeah.
Because more people probably walked away from hockey and being frustrated with the lockout. I don't know what the statistics were. I didn't look it up, but I'm sure there were some fans that were. I was very upset. Because it seemed like everyone was just being selfish.
Yeah.
And I was really upset at the guy who's taking the tickets, who's serving the popcorn, who's the usher at the game.
Yeah,
those people got laid off.
Yeah, they got lost.
And that's a personal thing.
Yeah.
And these guys, whether it's the players, the owners, they're all walking away to the bank anyways. They're getting paid because they have contracts and everything else.
Right.
But these poor people trying to support a family with a part-time job, whether it's at the XL Center, Bridgeport, wherever, they really had a tough time.
That was the only good thing about that the lockout there, because we weren't affected by it at all. The AHL actually plays through it
because they have a separate contract.
Right. But if Hartford had an NHL team, that would have been quite painful for a lot of people. Almost, if it's anything like '97, 900 jobs or so of people, not being able to work.
I know.
So it's a shame that the NHL goes through that. And we're still waiting to hear about other teams. What's up with Phoenix?
Florida.
What's up with Florida?
Yeah, Florida. Yeah. They said someone was on. Thinking about buying them.
Right.
That's been the most recent reports. I don't know if that's gone through. I haven't seen anything on the ticker, but when you look at Twitter and what's going on with the NHL, everyone's excited about the new season.
Yeah.
Who's going to be the top team this year?
Yeah.
Joel Quenneville and his team in Chicago
they
have to hold off the Wolves to keep his Stanley Cup in Chicago, and it's great to see Joel. There was a picture posted on Facebook. It was great with Joel Quenneville and former Whalers alum with him. It must have been in Chicago. They all went out to meet him, and it was great to see Kevin Dineen, Paul Lawless.
That's right. Those guys all kind of hang out and get together.
Yeah, they do. They really really have a close knit. And I was talking to someone earlier tonight, and the Whalers, the Whalers that played here, and we all appreciated them playing here, still have a love for the city.
Yeah, they do.
And that's what's frustrating. We talk about our team from back in the day and where they are now and how successful they are. You talk about Dean Evison, you talk about Kevin Dineen, Randy Ladouceur got picked up. I think he's with the Montreal Farm Club. Right. And these are all successful Whalers after their retirement.
Right, and they all actually do. I mean, we hear it all the time. You would think that if Hartford was such a bad place for the NHL, that players would hate it here. But you don't get a ton of players that are saying that they didn't like playing here. Many of them come back. Many of them come back for events. And they actually want to come back. Even some of them have chosen to live here. So
sure, they have their families up in this area.
Yeah. So you think that would. I'm a little bit positive about this in particular because the XL Center is a big key to the NHL getting the NHL back. For the CRDA to actually begin to talk about what do we need to do?
Right. What's
they're
the
not
future
saying let's
hold?
get the NHL.
Right.
But they're also not saying let it rot.
Right. Like New Haven did.
Yeah. Like
right.
the worst thing would happen is what New Haven did.
And that is the worst case scenario, and I don't think Hartford or the CRDA will do that.
Right.
I think they see how important it is to have that Coliseum in the city.
Right. Right.
I tell you, when you see the reports when they're knocking down the New Haven Coliseum, you knew that was going to be the death all.
Yeah.
But I must say, New Haven's rebounded with a lot of stores down there in that area.
Sure,
but they still don't have a professional sports team.
And you know what? There's AHL teams on the move too.
Sure.
New Haven could have landed an AHL team.
Sure, they had the Beast.
Yeah,
before that, the New Haven Nighthawks.
Right.
My grandparents used to go down there on Saturday nights and see the Nighthawks play.
Yeah. I remember the Nighthawks.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you heard, the Portland Pirates are in a little trouble with their arena.
Oh, are they?
Yeah. So there's a team that's up in the air, but. There's a good quote here from the article about the CRDA from Michael Freemuth, the CRD director. He's the guy that was kind of helped put the Rangers and get that contract with Global and everything, and get that all done. He says, Michael Freemuth from the CRD executive director said that the improvements outlined in the report are intended to boost revenues, to cut back on expenses, and are roughly equivalent to the state's investment of $38 million, about $2.7 million a year between 1993 and 2007 was done. The thought here, and this is a quote, the thought here is, this is what we have to do to make sure the building has 10 years left of productivity. So that they're looking at this building like, we just need to limp it 10 years, get it running, keep it running, and then
and make a decision.
Or then make a decision. So it's just good to hear that.
As a taxpayer.
That's the problem.
My other question is,
right.
Are we not in a position now to have a new arena built?
Right.
What do you think in 10 years we'll be in after we sink $35 million into, or what was it, $38 million into a building we're gonna wreck?
Right.
I'd rather use that $38 million towards a brand new arena, whether it's in Hartford
10%.
or Rensselaer. Yeah, $38 million is a lot of money.
Yeah, it's 10% of a new arena.
And as we know, there's plenty of investors out there that are willing to take part and build the city up, or even take part and bring a professional sports team in here. There's several of them. Governor Malloy has talked about people who have approached him.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean they've done anything more than approach him, but there are people out there, and I'm sure if there was someone within the state who is trying to get business in Hartford or the state, I'm sure they'd reach out to them.
Sure.
Why does it take someone to come to them instead of the state looking for someone?
Yeah.
I mean, we had a governor go and look for other teams out there.
Right.
You remember when
Perez,
Larry Gottesdiener,
mayor,
Larry Gottesdiener went out to see the Minnesota Wild. And see how their organization brought back a team when the North Stars went somewhere else. And now the Minnesota Wild are doing well, and they're having a pretty good fan base.
And Winnipeg's closest rival is Minnesota. Which is great, because those are two cities that lost their teams, and they've gotten. So it's happening to cities. So it's up to Hartford to figure out how.
Well, it's up to our leadership as well to want to attract a professional sports team.
Right.
Seattle.
Yeah.
Seattle did. Seattle's mayor.
Yeah.
He went out there. He was very vocal about it.
Right.
I mean, what is it going to take? I mean, granted, from what I see, it looks like Hartford, the state, they're okay with a minor league city.
Right.
If that's it, then that's fine.
Right.
But I believe, from what I've seen in the past, Hartford is a major league city on many, many levels.
Right.
Whether you deal with the nonprofit groups in the city, whether you deal with the professional sports team, even the AHL has been very, very good to Hartford. Whether it's the Wolfpack, the Connecticut Whale, it brought people into the city, and that's what we have to remember. As much as we'd love to have a professional NHL caliber sports team back here, the AHL has been very good to Hartford over the years they've been here, since the Whalers left back in '97.
Yeah.
So there's a lot to be said for keeping hockey on the radar, but it's also a lot to be said to have people go out and actively look for a professional sports team to come here.
Yeah. I mean, the AHL in Hartford is and people may not know this, but over 38, 40 games, they're bringing in 170, 200,000 people.
Sure.
Now, if it was the NHL, you could triple that.
Sure.
You could triple that to, I mean.
And if you have an arena in Hartford in the same spot, all those bars and restaurants would be busy every single night.
Right. You know they want it. Those are some of our biggest
they are.
fans are the restaurants, and we thank them in Hartford for supporting us.
And they do it. They love Whaler Talk. They love Whaler Nation TV.
Yeah.
And they've been very vocal about having us come to their shows. And this might happen in the future. We're still in negotiations with a couple of restaurants.
There,
Salute. TD Homers out of Hartford, Southington, want us to do Whaler Nation TV
Max
in their
downtown.
restaurants. Max's downtown was a great place to talk to Michael Mills down there. He was a great guy. And they really want to create that feeling of coming to Hartford to have a good time, like it used to be. You remember as kids when your parents used to go out and they were going to Hartford for a show, and you say, oh, wow, they get to go to Hartford.
Yeah.
You know, we have to make Hartford a big deal again.
Yeah.
Hartford has so much potential. You know, the Green Gal had all those people come out.
Right.
And they believe in Hartford, too.
Right.
So we'll have to see.
Yeah.
You know, if you have any questions, you can always get a hold of us here on Whaler Nation TV. It's an ongoing battle, and we'll have to see how this really ends up and see how serious the state and the city is ready to really contribute to the future of the XL Center.
Yeah, so I mean, at least we have a roadmap now that we can kind of follow and watch and see how it goes. You know?
Yeah, you know, that's when you look at how much Hartford was on the national map. Yeah. Frank Sinatra was here. We had all those big shows. Taylor Swift just came to town. These are big shows.
Right.
And you know, to me, it can happen again. We just have to have faith in keeping up, beat the drum, as they say. But we're going to catch you next time on another talk, Whaler Nation TV.
Right.
And like we always say, we all bleed green under Whaler Nation.